everyone. This is a very different video. It's not a bag review or anything like that. It is an answer to many of your questions. A lot of you have asked me how it's like and how on earth do I study on the bar. For those of you who are not from Europe, in England we have two types of lawyers. We've got barristers who specialise in court and litigation, and we've got solicitors who do all the paperwork and work closely with the client in a law firm. So I'm on the bar, so I'm going to be a barrister specialising in court and advocacy. And they're very, very different routes. We have a completely different style of lives, and I'll explain that all to you. This video is not only to explain to you guys of how the English legal system, the system of study works here, but also for potential people who are thinking about going into the bar, and just to let you know how it really is, because I wish I found a video like this and there was no one. It was really difficult to find information about how someone, what someone's going through, because people just literally don't have the time. So if I were to say one thing about the bar, is nothing can prepare you for it. At least I can kind of warn you about it, but nothing can actually prepare you for what it's going to be like. Your first week of induction when you're on the bar, you literally have to take 3 trips to the uni on 3 separate days to gather all your materials, because it's that fucking much. These are only some of them, but these are the workbooks that we have. Civil litigation, remedies and civil evidence, opinion writing, criminal evidence, that's the assessment handbook, criminal litigation, alternative dispute resolution, and we have small and large groups. So we have these cohorts. There's about 3 of them, and within the 3 cohorts you're grouped into smaller groups of 12, which you will be close with and get to know this group throughout the whole year, because you'll be with the same people the entire year. And then within that 12, you're grouped further into 6 for your advocacy groups. So those are the extra small groups that you do advocacy with. As far as the bar goes, there are 3 providers. There's the College of Law, which is now known as University of Law. There's BPP, and there's City Law School, where I go. City is the most, it's arguably the most prestigious, and it is also actually the only globally accredited bar provider in Europe. In the world, sorry. Yeah, so everywhere in the world will recognize a bar qualification from my school, which is amazing. So I'm really happy to be here. And we also don't spoon feed. They don't spoon feed us, and that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. I sometimes wish we were, because it's so much work, but perhaps it will make us better as barristers, I don't know, more self-sufficient and stuff like that. If I can describe how it is, how the bar is like, it's literally like being dragged through the mud, or you're on a speeding train headed for a wall and you can't stop. It's just, so we have 3 days of class a week. That doesn't sound like much, but if you realize the workload we have, I can't imagine more. Even our days off, even if you work every single day, there's still not enough time to do everything. They don't even get through all the questions in the class. That's how much work they give us. On top of the prep work that we have for each class, we have online mock exams and submissions that we have, actual written submissions that we have to give in that aren't marked. Then on top of that, we have to study for exams. And I have an exam tomorrow. I've got an advocacy exam tomorrow, an examination in chief. So I'm chiefing a fake witness who's played by an actor, and it's going to be recorded, and I have 12 minutes to get all the right questions out and elicit all the right information. And then a few days later I have my opinion writing exam, which is done at like in exam style. So basically we are given a case in advance to look over, and we have to write this opinion perfectly. An opinion is a response to us. Okay, so how it works in England is solicitors. Okay, so if you're going to be a barrister, you go and study on the bar. If you're going to be a solicitor, you study on the LPC, which is the legal practice course. So they are trained how to work with the client and how to work with us, and we're trained how to advocate in court and how to work with the solicitor when they instruct us. So even though we are specialised in court, they hire us, but we're self-employed, and they work for a law firm, and we are self-employed working under chambers. And chambers is literally just a set of barristers who work under one roof, and they either specialise in certain areas of law, and they're kind of like an established firm of barristers, but they're all self-employed. You just pay the overhead and you pay commission on every case you get and stuff like that. So basically the solicitor writes to us and says, so-and-so is our client, and, you know, they're either the defendant in the case or the claimant, and they instruct us because they need our opinion. So we have to write this opinion, which can be pages long, and it's about summary of facts and advice and this and that and what we think of the outcome of the case, and we have to do all this research. What makes the bar hard isn't because it's complex legal concepts. That's the undergrad. Okay, we had our help there. The undergrad was fun in a way, because if you like law because it's like a puzzle and you get to work things out, and it's complicated, and, you know, these complex legal concepts, you try to work things out and blah, blah. It's kind of fun sometimes. With the bar, you apply the law, but it's very little law. It's all procedural. So you're learning all these practical things. You're learning about serving claim forms. God, I've never knew there's so many facets of claim forms. But yeah, claim forms and drafting and opinion writing and all rules. So with criminal practice, we've got the criminal procedure. It's like criminal practice book, Blackstone's. It's just the procedures for criminal law, like, you know, in court. So in criminal cases, a barrister will be carrying this if he's a criminal barrister. It goes into the 3000s range, and, you know, it's all the procedural rules, and these are our Bibles for barristers. And then we've got our civil procedure book. Got my name on it. What? These books are each worth around £700. They're given to us on the course. Thank God they're included in our tuition fees. But this is all the rules and guidelines and stuff like that, you know, for practice, for civil practice. And we've got another one, volume 2. So literally we have to carry these into class. Every day we either have to carry both or one or the other. And then we've got our textbooks, normal textbooks. I'll show you my shelf. Sorry it's so messy. But all that on the top you see is from my undergrad law, just normal law books. And then here you see my cases and manuals and stuff like that. And yeah, so you get the idea of how it is. So I'm telling you, you'll lose friends who don't understand how fucked up your schedule is. You're going to lose them. Family might get mad at you too because you don't have time. You don't even have time for yourself. You can't have a life. If you have a life, you're going to be at detriment with the bar. I can count on one hand how many times I've gone out since I started, and every time I've gone out, I've suffered for it. You literally have to eat, sleep, and breathe the bar. There's no exception if you want to do well. So, because it will really get to you. And even if you do work, you can work yourself into the ground and you can read until the cows come home. You need to pace yourself and make sure you are doing all the right things and studying in the right way. So if you're thinking of joining the bar, okay, with barristers and solicitors, we're quite different. I mean, we have different different ways of life, I guess. Barristers, bar students, we belong to these law societies called Inns of Court. They're inns because they actually used to provide the bar, and that's why they have rooms and stuff like that. And now you can actually rent them out. They're really beautiful. They all were created, all 4 inns were created in the 13th century. None of them claim to be older than the other. There's Middle Temple, which is mine, Inner Temple, Lincoln's Inn, and Gray's Inn. Lincoln's Inn is where Harry Potter was filmed, so you've actually seen one of our inns. But we actually dine like that. We wear black robes, and it's very similar. That's a very English traditional thing, what they showed in Harry Potter, and we still do that to this day. We've got candles on the table, and we dine like that. But our membership is for life, so we have to join one. But if you're not accepted into a law society, you can't even apply for the bar. So there's a lot of tradition and procedure that's kind of entwined in each other within the legal dynamic of England. So once you get accepted to an inn, then you're finally allowed to apply for bar school somewhere. So that's how it works. If they don't like you for your application for whatever reason, you can't even think about doing the bar even if you wanted to. So yeah. And you have to have 12 qualifying sessions before you're called. So being called to the bar for us is basically like graduation. So even though I'm in the same school, we all belong to different inns. We can belong to the same inn, but I have some good friends belong to another inn. We're kind of like, oh, we won't be called together because we belong to a different inn. Your inn calls you, so you basically get qualified at your inn. And that's where you wear a wig and gown, and it's like a graduation, but much bigger video. Yeah, because this is calling to the bar, you know. Being a barrister, it's such a big deal. Oh my god, it's daunting. And then after, you have to find pupillage. So students who are, so solicitors are not part of our inns. That's where the major divide is. The whole legal culture is very much saturated with barristers and the bar. So yeah, it's very interesting. I love it so much, and I love history. So I love it. And I'm so proud to be here. And our jurisdiction, the English jurisdiction, is very, very well respected globally, and it's why other jurisdictions are based on ours. So it's something to be very, very proud of. And I love the legal culture here. It's amazing. If you ever come to London, go to Chancery Lane, Holborn, Temple, and see all the gorgeous legal architecture. We've got pubs that were around for hundreds of years, cater to barristers, and there's barrister paintings and drawings all over the place, and it's just so saturated. It's like a little, it's like legal central, but the culture has been existing since the 1300s. It's amazing. So back to the bar. I can't believe how our exams are running into, like, they haven't stopped our classes yet. I'm not happy about that at all. I'm already fucking stressed and sleep deprived and overworked as it is. You literally hurt from the inside out. Like, I just don't feel healthy, and my body doesn't feel good. We're always just, you're mentally and physically feel like a train wreck. Yeah. And you go through these stints, like, you'll cry, you'll break down. I'm not even an emotional person. I'm really not. I'm very together and very sound and calm normally, and this course has pushed me to my absolute limit. Mental limit, emotional limits, physical limit. Like, I've never been so stressed and sleep deprived in my life. So I just want to let you all know, if you're, thinking of joining an inn to try and apply for the bar, it's no easy matter. And I don't know how some people work part-time. I don't know how some people do other things, because, it's very life and time consuming. If you don't work, you're just going to suffer so much, but you have to have downtime sometimes, or you're just going to go crazy. It's just not healthy. So it's a struggle. Thank God it's only 9 months. It's the longest fucking 9 months I've ever had to endure, but it's so intense and it's so concentrated. I can't even explain to people what we go through. And that's why I said before, you may lose friends, because some people just don't understand unless they're doing it. They really don't understand how fucking taxing this course is. Yeah, you question yourself all the time. You know, you're with the people around you are all very good. So you don't feel smart enough, you don't feel tough enough, you don't feel strong enough, resilient enough. Often you're like, why the fuck am I here? Oh my god, I can't take this. I want to quit. You go through all these things. But then when you finish, and if you finish, I can imagine it's going to feel like the greatest feeling in the world. But yeah, it's a very insulated world. We lived in a very closed off world. That's why law is very incestuous. A lot of people end up dating each other and marrying each other because we're in a little bubble of our own. We're always together. We're always then. We have to eat, sleep, and breathe law. That's the difference with this course from other courses. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please do let me know, and I'll be glad to help. Whether you're thinking of going into law for the first time, undergrad, I've been through it all. And yeah, or you're thinking of joining the bar, let me know. But I think one thing is vital. You have to love it. Don't do it for the money, because majority of barristers, especially if you go into criminal, are not going to make that much money, especially in the first few years. Civil barristers make a hell of a lot more. And also it is more difficult. That's why a lot of people end up going into the LPC and becoming solicitors, because their pay on average is stable. They get a salary and they work for a big law firm. And, you know, with us, we're peddling and we're establishing ourselves and we're self-employed, and you're sacrificing a lot. But then when we do get paid, we can get paid a hell of a lot more than solicitors. We specialize in everything. Yeah, and that's another thing. I guess you Americans or non-Europeans realize, when Canadians realize, that we don't just go into practice. They make us do the bar. You know, they make us make sure that we are completely trained for the courtroom and completely trained on how to deal with solicitors and clients and stuff like that. And I think that's a bit better. It kind of sucks sometimes, because you think, God, in America they just finish law school and then they can practice. I'm like, no. Here they're like, no fucking way. We've got like, how many exams? Let me show you our exam schedule. Just show it to you if I can find it. I had it somewhere here. This is our exam schedule. So, as you can see, I've had one exam already. And there's certain dates here. They're not all exam dates, but we get the core law. We get big cases and we have to look over them just so we know what we're dealing with. And then the exams that we do have are 3 hours long, besides the advocacy assessments. Those are just recorded and they're around 12 minutes long. But we don't have much time, especially when we still have classes. I don't like that at all. They haven't given us like a proper exam revision week. We don't get that. It's not like the undergrad where they give you like a few weeks to study. They don't do that here. They just pile it on you. And we still have mock assessments and submissions that we're expected to turn in and prepare for classes. Class preparations, so much. We have to read chapters, at least like 2 to 3 chapters, and then a whole bunch of pages from our procedure books. So we've got the textbooks, the procedure books, and then answering questions, and then supplementary questions. And then we're expected to do this. So let me tell you, it's just like someone piling a whole bunch of shit on your plate constantly for the whole year. That's how it is. But I still love law. So that's how you know you should be here. You're going to question yourself, and it's normal to hate it because it's not all enjoyable. So how is it going to be enjoyable when you're expected to do a million things and you're not getting paid? I think if I was getting paid, you know what I mean? It's different. But you're doing all kinds of things. I mean, look at how many classes we have. We've got drafting, opinion writing, civil litigation, criminal litigation, civil advocacy, criminal advocacy. We have the 2 electives that we had to take. So I've got commercial law submission coming up and economic fraud coming up. Those are the only 2 really law things I'm doing this year. You know, because it's all procedure. So it's going to be reminiscent of the undergrad, I guess. It's going to be a little bit more fun. That's how you know when it's been really, really shit, is when you get excited to actually do law. And, you know, this is all law application and how how to serve a claim form and how to write up a draft and opinion, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. So I'm just saying, at least you know, and you do have to love it. And don't worry if you've just, if you're watching this and you're starting next year or something, and, you do have to love law though. Don't do it for money, because it's not guaranteed you're going to make any money, especially in the beginning, first few years of the bar. I don't think money is a good motivator unless you absolutely love that, what you're doing, what you've chosen. Then whatever you've chosen, you're going to make money because you love it. You're passionate about it, and you're driven and you're motivated because you love it. That's how the money comes. But yeah, if you have any questions, again, so I've said bye like 5 times, please do let me know. I'm going to go back and study for my advocacy right now. Bye.